In the beginning.
In the beginning. In the beginning.
In the beginning, there was Poly.
You are now listening to
The PolyGenesis Show.
Yo. What's up, what up, everybody? This is the PolyGenesis Show, and I'm your host, Coach Bruce, and I'm with my lovely co-hostess. I hope I'm saying it right. Co-hostess with the mostest. I'm with two lovely ladies, beautiful women, Qiana and Jasmine.
What up? How are you guys?
Yeah, so, we got a great show for you guys. I hope you guys are, ready to have fun and ready to listen and, and vibe out with us. We're going to be talking about, obviously, we're going to be talking about Poly. Yeah, so, what's crazy? Right.
Having me like Poly or something. I don't know.
Poly won a cracker. Nah, anyway. I don't know. But anyway. Yeah, so we're going to talk about Poly. I don't know why there's such a, and I guess maybe from the seat that I'm sitting in, and maybe because the things that we've been through, it's like looking back at it, it's like why there's a big uproar about Poly, like why people, women or whatever, don't like Poly. What you guys think?
I mean, I think it's just probably the way they came up, possibly, and that may play a factor in deciding whether they want to actually be exclusively to Poly or monogamy. Because I know how I grew up. I didn't grow up in this type of setting, so it was a little challenging to adjust to. But I think for a lot of women, and I'm not speaking for a lot of women, but I think for a lot of women, it may just be their upbringing, and that's hard to kind of switch over that traditional way of doing things versus right now, like how I'm living. That's kind of hard.
Right. What you think, Jasmine?
Well, like you said, most people are used to like a monogamy relationship, and they're trying to do the whole multiple people. But in reality, people do it every day.
People do it every day. That's one thing I don't understand is that when you start defining something, that's when people have a problem with it.
Yeah.
They're cool with the side chick titles. They're cool with this is some dude I fuck or whatever like that on the side, and they don't care that he has another person. But as soon as you try to enter them into a family dynamic,
right,
togetherness, and everybody on the same page and oneness, then there's a problem. Like, I don't understand that.
I don't get that either, but I mean, like you said, it's here. It's prevalent, like every day, like you see it.
And what's funny is that, like, and shout out to all my Poly families, whatever the Poly type of title you guys have, shout out to you guys. You guys are, and I'm going to give you definitely a big up, shout out to you guys, you know what I mean? Because,
right.
You chose to stand out. You chose to, live your life, and be happy, no matter your type of, outlook, and no matter your type of family dynamic or your dynamic, you chose to, go against the grain, just like, the LGBT communities and all that, and everybody's getting persecuted. Now it's like when we started, Poly wasn't in your face like that. I mean, everybody was still kind of underground, and it's like it's been a real big boom within the last maybe like 2 years or something, 2-3 years. It's been like a real big boom. It's
but
like
I think it was bigger anyway. I just think that a lot of people probably didn't adapt to it right then and there. But people been doing Poly, like actually in a Poly relationship, like official, for years.
Yeah, you're right. And also too, it's like I think it was really frowned upon because a lot of times we as people, we tend to only expose something that people like.
Yeah.
And I don't think and I don't think Poly was something that it wasn't the go-to. It wasn't the standard. It's not. And so people was like, I don't want to mention that I'm in that because I don't want to be judged.
Right.
Yeah. So they kept it on the hush hush. And that's wisdom too, because I don't feel that you're supposed to expose everything that you're into, especially if you don't want to, But it's like, when we started out, when me and Qiana, we started out, it was like, we was like, yo, like, we need some direction. Yeah. And people was like, because of the persecution, whether legal persecution, whether state, whether family, people didn't want other people to know, like, this is something that they was doing. And so it was hard for us to really find those people, those mentors, but we actually found some, We found some, we found some, with Dr. Qiana and Elder Murray, they was really good mentors in our lives and, and really helped, us to move where we need to move and go where we need to go, and so, and also too, I just like really want to encourage everybody that's even seeking or, or looking, man, look, there's a lot of resources, and I'm not going to say eat off of every tree, but find something that you want to do and find that model, that idea model that has production, that has fruit, and glean off of them, hit them up, DM them, reach out to them and really get to know them and let them talk to you guys, because it's two ways to learn, mentors and mistakes. And why choose mistakes if you don't have to?
Some people want to just do what they want to do. And in that case, you can bet your bottom dollar that something probably going to happen that you really don't want to happen.
This is not in.
Bet your bottom dollar. Is that one? Hey, it applies, right? Right. But that's the thing, though. I get that. I'm just saying from the perspective of, here it is, we've been, let's say, even marriage or whatever, we've been, me and Qiana, we've been married for, 17 years, 18 years this year, actually. And why, if someone was looking to be married, why just go out there and just wing it versus dealing with some people that had 18 years, experiences, hardships, and it'll save you 18 years of your life. Or save you 3 years, 2 years, 1, And so it's, I think that's,
depending on that individual too.
Yeah. And I think that's what's going on now, though. I think that what's happening is that there's a major disconnect, between the older generations and the younger generations. There's, no one really wants to accept mentorship. Right.
Well, I mean, I don't know. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Jasmine.
No, I was going to say, I don't think it's that. I think because of what the younger generation was showing and had to go through, they got trust issues. So they probably don't even deal with nobody.
Yeah, I like that. Trust issues are really, and I always live by the code of, especially with old heads, I remember one time, because we in this pandemic, right, this whole COVID thing, right, and this one guy was like, and I was just messing with him, he didn't understand where I was at and because I don't expose everything to everybody, but he was like, yo, did you take that shot, or you get tested? And I was like, nah, just messing with him, see what he was about. And then he like jumped down my throat, and then he bigged me up at first and was like, yo, you a great, respectable young man. I definitely see you got a good head on your shoulders. I could tell that you a leader in all this. And then when I didn't want to do what he wanted me to do, then all of a sudden I became a knucklehead. Right? Like, how did I go from this guy to being a knucklehead? And I think that's the problem, is that sometimes with older generations, they expect people to just like listen to them without first breaking bread with them. Right. Getting to know them. Don't talk at them, but talk with them. Have a conversation. What are they like? And you will win them that way. At least I think. I think. And so, right. And so now when we're dealing with, polygyny, it's like, I would just say this. I think that with poly, not just polygyny, but poly, I think with poly, there's not a magic pill. You know, I think that people, there's no manual to this. I don't care. Right. I don't care what background, whether religious or whatever. There's nothing that actually gives you instructions on how to do it.
Like you just have to have that life application when it comes to this, because this is gonna try you, test you, shake some things up that you don't even want to get shaken up.
How you run down the block naked?
But as nay. He said run down the block naked.
So, I mean,
That's funny.
It's gonna do some shit. It's gonna definitely try you.
Yeah, and I think that's why when we accept mentorship, I think it will really help us, at least prepare us. You know, because it's like, to be honest, it's like the things that I look now, I'm glad we had to go through what we had to go through then. Because the things I look to now, it's like, it's all on social media, it's all on these things. And they show, and to be honest, it's like it's skewed because they show all these smiles and laughs. I'm not saying that we don't, because we smile a lot, we have fun, but damn, we're a family, we're human. You know what I mean? Like, shit, I know I get on you guys' nerves. You know? Well, okay. But, you know, okay, yeah, you was really enthused when you said this. Hell yeah, okay. Sheesh. We're going to talk after this. Nah, it's just at the end of the day. Oh, sorry. But yeah, sorry. Anyway. But yeah, I mean, I think at the end of the day, it's like the concept is good. I think people are falling in love with the concept, but not really understanding the cost.
Yeah, it will cost you.
It's going to cost you. It's going to cost you.
That's why you need to be out the strip.
You said, what does that have to do with anything?
It don't cost.
Okay. If you want to join Poly, you need to strip. 45, 35, 45. They start bidding. They put anyway. But anyway, look. So I don't know how I got in that rabbit hole. It's just, anyway. But yeah, it's going to cost you. You know, it's going to cost. And I think that, you know, we see the concept and the idea of what we can have. And I think now it's really important and it's high time because of there's a lot of broken families. There's a lot of broken homes and people are really getting back to what matters. And I think something about this COVID shit, you know what I mean, this whatever you want to call this crap that's going on now, it's really, I mean, I think it's like a positive and a negative. You know, it depends on your mentality, it depends on your livelihood and your outlook on life. But for others, I think for ourselves, or for me, you know, it's really strengthening bonds. It's really, you know, causing us to invest. It's causing us to have a different outlook on things that didn't work. Now, oh, shoot, we got to switch up. So I think that, you know, when you're building families or whatever, it's good to have that mentorship. It's definitely good. It is definitely good to, yeah, you know, it's good to have that support system, and it's good to have that model.
Right.
You know, that emulation. There's nothing wrong, ladies and gentlemen, with emulating something, especially if it's something that you're trying to get to. Like, if you know wealthy people, you should try to emulate their success, or how they, not their success, but how they achieve these things. You know, you got to emulate it. If these people are spending time in, you know, self-development, personal development, reading books or whatever like that, you should emulate that because there's something that they're doing. There's a formula that works. You know, you can't try to grasp onto something. And once again, going back full circle, you can't try to grasp poly life with the same monogamy mentality.
But so many people do, and it does create problems in the long run because you're used to a certain way, and now you got to get unschooled from that thought.
Right.
So it's like you have to really deprogram yourself, and then reprogram yourself to now reality. This is reality for me.
Mm-hmm.
I can't do what I normally would do. And it's almost like, you know, you changing your life. Even if you wasn't in a monogamous relationship or a poly relationship, like you changing, period. you have to deprogram yourself from or detach from whatever it is that was once you.
Right.
So,
but I think, so would you say, is it safe to say that maybe before you dive into something, you should get educated?
of course, of
But
course.
I will also say all that educating and reading books and stuff is not the same for you and
Yeah, that's true.
That's true. I mean, hell, like, I can read a manual on, airplane mechanics.
Mhm.
And when I open up the engine compartment, wherever that is, I'll be like, what the hell? Because there's nothing like hands-on training, And but I still think that classroom style, or I would say that mentorship or whatever, that education piece plays an important role because it prepares you. It starts to prepare you mentally.
Yeah.
right.
It starts that journey.
But that's like, someone learning how to swim for the first time. They ain't gonna know what to do. I ain't even talking about you though.
My brother
I know.
taught me how to swim by throwing me in the deep end. Yeah, right. I know how to swim now.
And you still don't know how to
Yeah, right. Please. I know how to swim. He taught me by throwing me in the deep end.
Yeah, I wasn't even referring to you.
In the middle.
Right, John, little person.
Sometimes, but that's wisdom. Sometimes,
You just gotta be thrown in.
no, I'm not bitter. Sometimes you just gotta be thrown in.
You get mad every time I say something.
Nah, it's just
You
relative.
bring the same story.
It's relative. No, but that's wisdom. You pussyfooting or you're testing the waters. Sometimes you just gotta get thrown right in. You ain't gonna know, or you're not gonna know how things will be until you dive right in. Because everything is not gonna come easy. Everything is not gonna come being comfortable. Everything is not gonna come how you want it. And so just think about it. Like, poly really changed my life. It really changed my life. And it's easy for some, woman to say, yeah, of course it changed your life because you're the man. No, we all benefit from it.
That's how they sound for the man voice.
Right. Well, the problem with you is, but it really changed my life because it caused me to step up. It caused me to become better. It caused me to really tap into that potential, that person that's been stagnant. It taught me to have more responsibility and more care. It taught me how to become a man. It taught me, and I'm not saying that I wasn't a man then.
It just opened you up.
It just opened me up more because I'm forever growing. I'm a whole different dude than I was last year. You know what I mean?
You grew a whole inch, huh?
Yeah. I don't know where that's going, but oh my gosh. Yes.
Well, we're supposed to grow yearly anyway.
You're supposed to grow yearly.
I've been the same height since high school. I don't know what y'all talking about.
Yeah, right. You ain't talking about that age. But anyway, that's another story.
Wow, we're gonna do this. We're gonna talk about mommies. Okay.
Nah, but yeah, I've grown. Yeah, but but you're supposed to grow. And I think a lot of times that we have to put ourselves in situations to cause growth. And so poly, like I tell people, because we have a lot of people messaging us, we have a lot of people that's talking to us. And one thing that I've always been consistent with is letting people know that poly is going to kick your ass. You know what I mean? Because it's going to cause you to see things that was never inside you, or see things that you always covered up.
I'm glad to say they was inside me, you just didn't see.
Yeah. And guess what? And those are just not negative things. There's also positive things. It's just something beautiful. It's just something beautiful to see growth. To see people get it. But they had to be in those uncomfortable situations.
Yeah, we had a lot of them too.
Yeah, we definitely, in our family, Taylor Family Empire, we definitely had a lot of those. And, we still have them. We're still learning each other every day. We're still growing. We have arguments. We have fights. We have makeup sex.
Like that, though.
No, it ain't like that anymore. But trusting. I think that's what you said at the beginning. That trust.
I said that wrong.
Well, I said that's what you said at the beginning, but I was just talking.
Yeah.
Did I give a name?
You was looking at the other way. You was looking at the other way.
Did I give a name?
She was looking at the other way.
Oh my gosh. Anyway.
Lord.
So you want to do this right now?
Yep.
Okay.
I.
Anyway. What was that? Was that a bill? That wasn't a bill. That was wow.
We have a bell. We need a bell.
No, we don't need a bell.
Right. Can you stop banging on the desk, please?
Oh, that's for example.
Can we get back to the subject? Look, you guys, you see what I deal with?
What we deal with?
You see what I deal with? I'm always double teamed.
Did they?
Anyway, I just really feel like, okay, if you guys are really looking to get into poly, find a couple, find a family, find something that interests you as far as their type of demographic and their lifestyle, because there's many different polys, you guys. You know, there's many different polys, all right? And so you find one that you're interested in, and find one that someone is right. Someone is emulating is something that you really like, and really ask to talk to them. And it's not that you're trying to get with their family or anything, but see if they can actually, if they have the fruit enough to, you know, share with you some wisdom. You can glean from people. Yes.
That don't mean be a copycat.
Right. I mean, because at the end of the day, and I really believe that a person, you know, if you're really going to get into this like me, like I'm really into this, I have vision, I have purpose, I have, you know, reasonings of why we do what we do. You see what I'm saying? And so when we're out looking for people, or you know, when we brought Jasmine in, she already knew, or we already had the position for her and what we were doing and why she's here, because everything's supposed to have purpose in life. You know, when you're in a relationship, think about it. What's your purpose of your relationship?
Right.
What's the purpose of that lifestyle? What's the purpose of your family? Everything's supposed to have purpose. If it doesn't have purpose, then it's dead.
Yeah.
Everything. You know, everything in my house, I don't gather or collect anything. Everything that I get, it has a purpose. No, it don't. You said, no, that's a purpose. Okay? That's the purpose. The purpose is, I need my feet look.
Closet.
Can you stop telling my business?
Yeah, our business already out there.
They don't know what's in my closet.
Not yet. Not sweat.
Oh my gosh. But everything has to have a purpose, you know? And vision brings forth the purpose. If you don't have vision, there's no purpose in life. You know? And so before you start anything, it's just like a business. You know, here it is, you go and it starts with a thought, an idea, right? And then you take that thought and idea and then now you bring it into life and you make it real in the earth, right? By now, making the appropriate steps, you know? And then from there, you know, you have a lot of people do things differently when it comes to their business, but, you know, they have those, you know, how much they're going to make and what are they going to be doing, business plans. It's the same thing. It's the vision or purpose for your business. I mean, for your family. And so, if you don't have vision, and then people come, you can mishandle people because you don't understand the purpose of that person in your life. People are resources. Forget money. Forget all that. People are the biggest resources. And so, when you have people that comes into your life, and if you don't understand purpose, you don't understand direction, you don't understand any of these things, you can mishandle people. And so vision is, and the same thing.
The person coming in can mishandle the situation with loyalty.
Oh, definitely. Oh, heck yeah.
If they don't understand and see what you're trying to do and see the vision beforehand.
Yeah, definitely. And, you know, they can mishandle. And like she said, it goes both ways, you know. And so vision is very important. Vision, direction, vision brings purpose. Because now you guys know why you're together. You know what it is that you're working towards. There has to be purpose. There has to be purpose. Like, you know, when a man and a wife come together, they come together supposedly to create a child. But for some reason, if that child can't come forth for whatever reason, what's still the purpose of you guys' relationship? You know, are you just, what are you doing? What's the purpose? You know?
She have to be a resource.
Back in the day, I was watching Cookout the other day, and I always look at this part in the movie, but you know, the judge that lived next door to him.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the two brothers, the fat brothers. They was like, well, how did you get hooked up with, you know, your wife or
Right,
whatever?
right.
He was like, back then, you know, it was more about money. So she came with that resource. So
And money married.
money marries money. You know?
Right.
Yeah.
Well, man, that's not true.
So they ain't had no kids or nothing, but they had that.
Right. They have something to work towards. They were building something. And that's the point. What are you building? What is the purpose? And so that's the keys, man. This is the wisdom keys. Okay. I like Shorty. Why? Because she got a fat ass. She got big. Okay. She can sell big. Okay. What else? Or I like the dude. Why? Because he got a big dick. And I like the way he can lick that box. And, you know, he can do this. Okay. What else?
He wasn't a box.
What else?
So he looked in the box for that. So cat looked in the box.
You know, shut up. You silly. You see what I'm saying? And so, but what's the purpose outside of that? What's the purpose? Okay. What happens when you're in your cycle? Well, I don't know, because, you know, some people have sex on their cycle.
Mm-hmm.
That's neither here nor there. That's neither here nor there, right? But
hey,
some people have, and that's them, okay? But at the end of the day, I'm like, what happens if you're away? Or what happens if, what's still the purpose of you guys' relationship? So it has to have purpose. Everything has to have purpose.
agree.
You know, a hammer wasn't created only for it to hammer. You know, everything was created with a purpose in mind. We were created with a purpose in mind. You know, so yeah, you know, I guess well, we could talk about, you know, because for people that don't know us, you know,
Let's get them a little bit of us.
yeah, you know.
Or we do have Instagram.
Yeah, we do have an Instagram at Taylor Family Empire. You
Yeah.
can follow us at Coach Bruce Taylor at. Y'all be changing your handles.
No, my name is Queen Kilda.
Queen Killia, that's
Boop,
Jasmine,
boop,
and Queen Killia, that's QueenKillyah. And then Qiana's is Queen of Hearts. QT. She
Not the gas station.
Her name, QT. Who she thinks she is? Cute. QT.
No.
QT. Even your initials make you look like a hater. What the hell she thinks she is? Nah, but anyway, yeah, you know, and also follow us at, you know, PolyGenesis show.
Yep,
But
Facebook and Instagram.
Yeah.
And we got our new show,
Our
After
sixth
Hours. So follow us on IG and Facebook and YouTube.
You could too, a hoe.
Anyway, you silly. You too. You silly. But anyway, but a little bit about us, you know. Me and Qiana, we've been married 18 years. Our anniversary was last month, August the 16th. And that made 18 years, you silly. We've been together since 98. We was high school sweethearts.
I was like 3.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, she was 3.
3.
Okay. She's the young tenderoni, so she always trying to crack old jokes. So, you know, I always get her.
I still got some like on my breath.
Right, you know what I mean? So I always get you still got titty milk in your mouth, you know? But anyway.
Yes, I do.
But anyway, you know, we, you know, so we've been around the block for a while, you know. And then we got, you silly. Right. And then, you know, we got into polygyny. Well, we had vision, you know. A lot of times when we was, you know, going through life, you know, we was always said that, you know, our family is going to be examples for people, and we don't intentionally try to, you know, act like we're better than anybody. We're human just like everybody else, you know, but we have a lot to share because we experienced a lot in life, you know, and it's not about right or wrong. It's about, you know, just pointing out directions, and it's up to you because according to your vision, you know, we don't want you to take everything that we say for face value or everything to heart, you know. If it applies, you know, if it don't apply, then let it fly. You know what I mean? But if, you know, maybe you can glean from certain things that we say, because we're not those religious people. You got to listen to everything I'll say. You know, we don't care. You know,
we are not the answer.
Right, we're not the answer. You know, but we're going to help you find the answer. And the answer, 9 times out of 10, 10 out of 10 is inside you. You know, and so, but anyway, so we got into Poly, actually, I was challenged. That's how it started. I was working, I was driving the bus for the school board, and this one brother was like, he was just telling me he was married, and he was like, yo, and I was pastoring at the time. I was pastoring. Actually, I was pastoring at the time. I was over the community, and he was telling me, I'm married, blah, blah, blah. And then out of the same breath, he was like, I'm about to make sure you're my wife. And I was like, what? I was like, aren't you? You just said you was married. He was like, yeah. I was like, well, isn't that adultery? Now, because I was native, I never really defined adultery only based off of what I was taught and how people explained it to me when I was young. But when I looked, he was like, well, I'm going ahead. But he was like, you need to look up what adultery means, right? From a Hebraic perspective. And I was like, oh, he's not going to change me, because I'm a studier, you know what I mean? Like, I read a lot. I read a lot of books and I study. So I looked it up, and to my surprise, I was like, golly. And so that made me question a lot of things. And now, mind you, I knew that, biblically saying, and also, dealing with the Islamic faith, because they believe in Abraham too, or Abraham, that he had multiple wives and, all these things. And so I never really put two and two together because it was something that wasn't spoken about. So it was more like, hear no evil, see no evil, out of sight, out of mind. So if you don't hear about it, then sweep it under the rug, And so I started studying and looking at this, and then I brought it to my wife, Qiana, at the time. And, she accepted it all front.
Yeah.
And she looking at me side-eye and shit like, man, don't even think about it, But I was like, nah, this is something that we really need to look into, because this is something, it was like a jewel that you found. It was like, wow, what is this? I know this is something of value, but we don't know what it is,
Yes, this is perfect.
Right. And so, we looked at this, we studied, we read books, shout out to Hondo Solomon, his book, Polygamous Papers, and then shout out to one of the sisters, I can't remember the sister's name, but the name of her book was Patricia something. I can't remember her name, and my apologies, but her book was We Want for Our Sisters What We Want for Ourselves. And that was very powerful, just even in the title. We want for our sisters what we want for ourselves. That right there was beautiful, because of that book was like an eye-opening. And she took a non-biased approach, because she got information from Mormons, she got information from Hebrew Israelites or Hebrews, she got information from Muslims, and she put their perspectives and everything in the book. And she was non-biased with any perspective. Like, she wasn't leaning towards one way or another. She was getting the information out there. And then further along in our journeys, we got introduced to Dr. Qiana, and her husband, Elder Murray. And her book was called The Them and Him. That's very powerful. I mean, we still look at that and apply that to our lives even right today. The Them and Him was very good, still very good. And I recommend everybody go out and get that. But once again, like Qiana said, like Jasmine said at the beginning, she said, no matter how much you read, no matter how many seminars you go to, no matter how many videos you watch, it's not the same as being in it. But it helps. But it's not the same. So, our trial, we had a trial and error. Seen a lot of red flags. That's another thing. Don't ignore the red flags. But we've seen a lot of red flags, and we jumped in head first. And I'm kind of paraphrasing this story because it's a long story. If you want to know more, hit us up at PolyGenesis Show. Inbox us on Instagram, and we can chat, we can talk, we can, really dialogue with that. Or hit us up at Taylor Family Empire page and inbox us, or hit me up at Coach Bruce Taylor. But anyway, make matters worse. Make matters better. We, Qiana started getting mentorship and really helped with her mindset and things like that, and help her deal with the shit that we were in, and help me as well, and then we got out of that situation, and then like months later, we met Jasmine, and with that situation, it was actually a beautiful situation. She was young, vibrant, brought a lot, to the family and things like that, but because of our backgrounds, things clashed. You know, and so just had to learn each other.
Not class like that, because I'm six things.
But just because we clash doesn't mean you're not gonna be here.
Yeah, but some people take.
But I feel
You
you.
know, I just want to clarify that. Yeah, you know, we had our arguments.
Yeah, we had a lot of
It was more
arguments.
because it was a lot of miscommunication. I didn't really understand trust piece, all of that. So it was a lot of that going on, you know. And like you said, our demographic, you know, two street people, because he's from Harlem, from Chicago.
Let me tell people where I'm from.
No, that Cotton Club. No, I'm just playing. But yeah. So it made it hard, you know. But like I said, we still here, still stand, 10 toes down.
10 toes down.
You look like you gonna lick the mic. You okay?
Oh wow. Pause. I'm licking the mic. What you talking about?
You look good.
Yeah,
But yeah, we been together for 3 years. Coming up in November.
Yep.
And it's a beautiful. Nah, I was just playing. But yeah. So like I said, this lifestyle you got to put in a lot of work. That dedication. Once you in it, make sure you all in it. Don't be partially in it because it's gonna show. Just make sure you in it and be sure that this is what you want. And the person that you with, or the person, if you're not the first, like make sure you know that direction and you understand it.
yeah. I mean, like, it's like this. You know, it's like, I don't know. It's with relationships nowadays. It's like you do something wrong. That's it. I'm done. Block, delete. I don't get that. I don't get the whole block, delete thing. Like, talk. It's like we're living in a society that people don't talk. They don't have no communication skills anymore.
Everybody includes everybody.
You know, yeah, you know, and so it's like it's really rough to build relationships now. But at the end of the day, it's like she said, it's like, you know,
The beginning.
In the beginning.
In the beginning, there was Polly.